Five Nights at Freddy's Max modes are considered to be really difficult challenges that require a whole lot of skill and time, except FNAF 3 because that's a piece of garbage game and I hate it.
Oh, I wonder, wait, I know if it...
Oh my, oh.
Imagine yourself grinding out FNAF 2's max mode, getting ready to beat it, and you just died before that sweet 6 a.m. It sounds like that sucks, right? Now imagine lining up all 6 FNAF max modes in a row with the only challenge being not dying a single time. Well, that is what we'll be doing in today's video. I present to you all the If you guys don't understand what the FNAFLOCKE is,
Wow, okay.
If you guys don't understand what the FNAFLOCKE is, a very good friend, the first victor of the FNAFLOCKE, will be explaining the rules and everything about it.
As the creator and first victor of the FNAFLOCKE challenge, I'll be here to explain the rules. Essentially, you have to complete the max modes of the first 6 original FNAF games in a row without dying. You can pick and choose to do these games in whichever order you'd like, as finding the optimal route allows for more creativity and strategies. Timer strategies and interval abuse are allowed, but explicit glitches like the FGP strategy in FNAF 3 or the -3 strategy in FNAF 2 are banned. There are some games with multiple max modes, but here are the ones that were featured in the first FNAFLOCKE video. We have 420 mode in FNAF 1, 1020 mode in FNAF 2, Nightmare with only the aggressive cheat on in FNAF 3, 420 mode in FNAF 4, 1020 mode in Sister Location, and Saturday in FNAF 6. With the rules out of the way, let's get into the FNAFLOCKE challenge.
The order of the games would be like this: FNAF 3, FNAF 4, FNAF 2, Sister Location, Pizza Sim, and FNAF 1. This will better optimize my run and make sure that I have no errors going forward. With all of that out of the way, let us get into the first game of the FNAFLOCKE. Our first game for the run is FNAF 3 Aggressive Nightmare, considered the RNG hell of FNAFLOCKE. The reason for this is because Springtrap doesn't have any intervals, no actual real fairness to his AI. He's just a fat, green sack of AIDS. In the beginning of the video, you guys saw me resetting cams. During this, I made sure that Springtrap was stuck in a vent and wasn't able to rush me. But Springtrap has the jets of a Bugatti and decided, nah, I'm good fam, and killed me anyways. Things like that is what makes FNAF 3 extremely stressful. That is why I put FNAF 3 first in the FNAFLOCKE. With that being said, we first have to construct a strategy which will give us the upper hand to fend off the RNG. FNAF 3 realistically only has 5 minutes of playtime. In the first minute, Springtrap can't enter any of the vents, but if he does manage to, just Team Umizumi his way, rush into your office, and he's at the window by like 40 seconds, congrats, you just got the bonus 5 type of level of RNG, and that just sucks balls.
No! Yo! No.
When you start the night out, it's important to close this vent to get a head start of the strategy. After the first minute, the strategy will begin. What you want to do is track his movements and see where Springtrap is. Depending on where he is on the map, you want to block the adjacent vent to him. The only reason why Nightmare Aggressive is so hard is because Springtrap will just rush his way to some other camera while you're doing something else and go through the vents. The top part of the map and its vents are the most deadliest in my opinion, whilst Cam 5 vent is something you can tame, but whatever. We'll get into that later. If you're trying to track him on the cameras and your cameras go down, there's one thing you can do to kind of keep tracking his movements. The static that produces when Springtrap moves from camera to camera is something that you can take note of when you're trying to track him. One thing I will say is that it's super hard to keep track of him, and you can even lose track of him. That would actually happen to me when I was trying to track him. I would lose track of him, and he would go in an event that I thought he was at, but he really wasn't at. Now, one thing I want to get into that you'll see a lot throughout Nightmare Aggressive is the scare sounds. When Springtrap gets into camera 5, he'll produce a scare sound that sounds like this. When he advances to camera 2, he'll make the same scare noise, but it'll be louder. It's good to take note of these scare noises because this is where the strategy will come into play. My strategy was when he would come into camera 5, I would close the cam 2 vent. I would do a toggle cancel on cam 5 vent just in case he would go into cam 5 vent. 95% of the time when he would hit camera 5 is he would go down to camera 2 and then jump back to camera 5. So that's why you're doing a toggle cancel on camera 5. Just saying. Now, sometimes the scare noise will play even if he's not around, but that's Phantom Freddy. The best thing to do with this is to just toggle between the upper cameras, mainly camera like...
You
would check that one camera and then you would go down to camera 5 and toggle between the two. So it's like, you're checking to see if he's really at camera 5, but yeah. If Springtrap advances to your window, this is where you're gonna use your audio lure. Notice that I haven't talked about the audio lures a single time because we're actually saving it for this moment. When Springtrap gets to your window, what you're gonna do is open the cameras and lure him back to camera 2. When he gets lured back, he'll go back to camera 5, and that's when, you repeat the strategy. Also, one thing I wanna know about when Springtrap comes to your window is if you try luring him away, he doesn't go, it's like a 1 out of 7 chance of that happening. It's pretty common, I'm not gonna lie. It seems a little, But yeah, it's just one of the many things that can happen with FNAF 3 Nightmare Aggressive. It's just something that happens, right? Any confusion or any comments about this strategy, let me know down in the comments. It's gonna be my best interest to help you guys about this. Now, this strategy is to best combat, Springtrap's RNG to the best of its ability, and this is the no FGB strategy, so it's not 100% consistent. This is why we put FNAF 3 first in the FNAF lock. There would be times in the FNAF lock where I would literally have straight recordings of FNAF 3. 85% of the FNAF lock is FNAF 3, I promise you. It's
literally just FNAF 3 Fest, bro. It's freaking crazy.
Honestly, with FNAF Lock, I would say that the only hard part about this challenge is FNAF 3. I've had so many rage moments just from Springtrap acting like an idiot. That's why I hate this challenge. As explained in the strat section, this dude would just blitz past my window and not give a fuck about my lures. That's crazy to me. I also got this super really cool Easter egg that's like 1 in 10,000 chance of spawning. So that's really dope.
Wait, no, I'm actually confused. What is that?
And when everything goes to plan, we finally get our win in Nightmare Aggressive for FNAF 3. Hey, what is going on, everybody? I noticed that a large chunk of you that aren't subscribed watch my vid. Nah, I'm just kidding. What's up, y'all? If you made it this far into the video, I really appreciate you guys, but there's one thing I would like to ask for. If you could help me hit 100K by the end of this year, we've been climbing for a long time, and I would appreciate if you guys would simply just hit the subscribe button. With post notice, that's cool, but yeah, let's move on to the next game. Our second game in the FNAF lock is FNAF 4's 420 mode. Typically during my runs, I would place FNAF 4 in the dead middle of the FNAF lock after sister location. But I kept having problems with Nightmare, so I slammed FNAF 4 in second place. It's so funny because when I was first starting out the FNAF lock, I was actually doing blind mode, Mad Freddy, and Insta Foxy. Then I found out that that was for Spring Lock, not FNAF lock. Yeah, I was low-key kind of stupid, and I also had this really funny encounter with Bones. Hello? Where's the door? Where's the door? Am I tripping?
Oh no. Oh no.
Bro, where was the door? Where was the door? Where was the door? I shifted to the left.
I'm so sorry.
Dude, that was actually so dumb, dude. The door would not
It wasn't
click.
even like a nervous death. That was just like, wow.
Wow. Nice. Bro, that would have been the run if I didn't goof up there. This game is relatively easy as the whole entire night is scripted. The strategy I used was constructed by the GOAT himself, 8 Braden 8.
Hi, I'm Brayden, the guy who made the strat. In 420 mode, both Bonnie and Chica cannot fail their movement opportunities. FNAF 4's map is set up like a checkerboard. These two things mean that at certain times of the night, it is completely impossible for Bonnie or Chica to be at your doors. So at these times, we can run straight up to a door and immediately flash with 0 risk. This strategy works whenever your timer says 0 through 4 in the single seconds digit. We also need to deal with Freddy and Foxy. Freddy is super easy. Simply flash the bed until your timer is at 8 seconds. Then turn and run to a door. Flash the hall, run back, and repeat while alternating doors. Doing this puts you at the doors just as your timer enters that golden range of 0 to 4 seconds, meaning you will always be safe to flash. It also gives you plenty of time to flash the Freddles on the bed. Finally, there's Foxy. If he ever runs to one of your doors, just go to that door at the normal time of 8 seconds, even if that means doubling back to a door that you just went to. Very rarely, Foxy will go to the same door back to back. If this ever happens, you can go to the same door 3 times in a row. However, do not turn to the bed after the second and third door check. Simply wait in the room until 8 on your timer. Once you've dealt with the opposite door character like normal, you can go back to flashing Freddy. Foxy can go to the same door 3 times in a row. If this happens, there isn't really much you can do about it. However, this is a 1 in 4,000 chance of happening, so it's very unlikely that you'd ever run into it.
Hack 2, hack 2, hack 2. So I'm gonna come in just for this last bit. For the last 2 minutes of the night after you're done with the scripted night part, with the 4 minutes, all that bullcrap, Nightmare's part will finally begin. Now, typically people don't go over this, but I would like to just go over a few things with Nightmare that I didn't know that a lot of you would wanna know. Nightmare can go from left door to right door to the bed to the closet, but we'll get into all that later. Now, one thing people really mess up on is when Nightmare goes to one side and he stops for like half a second, they instantly go, and then he moves to another side and then you die by him. I mean, that's a skill issue. But basically what you want to do is you want to wait for Nightmare to stop for at least a second, then go and then instantly close the door. You're gonna do that for both sides, but here's where the real kicker of the night begins, right? Now, Nightmare has something called real laughs and fake laughs. His real laughs is when he laughs and then he appears on the bed or in the closet. He can only have 2 of those real laughs, but then he has fake laughs where when he's running around, he'll laugh and then he'll still be at the door rather than being on the bed or the closet. Now, this isn't really an issue, but this isn't really an issue, but when you're doing the FNAF lock, you don't want to die, right? The easiest way to counter these is like this. Nightmare's fake laugh has intervals. If he laughs on a 0-second interval, then his laugh is fake. But if Nightmare lasts anywhere between 1 and 9 seconds, the laugh is real and you will have to check the bed and the closet. If he real laughs, right, 1 through 9 seconds, and he's on the bed, the fake laugh interval will change. But if he goes to the closet, the fake laugh interval won't change. It's a lot of things to get down, but I promise it's gonna make sense. Now, you're probably asking me,
Jasiah, you stupid Mexican, what do you mean his fake laugh interval changes on the bed?
for some reason, his fake laugh interval changes. It like pauses and changes when you deal with him on the bed. There's an equation that you can use to, figure out his new fake laugh interval. From the time that you clear him, subtracted by the time that he laughs at. Say like you cleared the bed at like maybe 4 minutes and 57 seconds, but he laughs at 4 minutes and 54 seconds. That means your new interval will be...
That was so freaking tough. The way I did that's so freaking tough.
But there's also like this one really silly thing where you can do is he can actually re-laugh on a fake laugh interval. But that's like a 1 out of 10 chance, super rare. Remember, 2 real laughs, fake laughs, infinite. Just track them on both sides of the doors. Without that being said, let's get into my personal experiences with this night.
Honestly, every time I'd have a really good run, I would end up dying at FNAF 4. And it's so interesting to me because FNAF 4 is quite literally the easiest max mode next to FNAF 1 420. I guess the nerfs made me play like an actual scared sissy who was about to get their lunch money taken at school. With FNAF 4's 420 down in the lock, it's now time to turn our attention to FNAF 2's 1020. The third game in the FNAF flock is FNAF 2's 1020. FNAF 2 was the game that gave me the most nerves due to how strict the strategy may seem. With the use of Brayden's auto timer, FNAF 2 becomes a painful joke of a max mode. Pair this up with this strategy, you will win 99% of the time. I've explained this strategy a lot on this channel, but for the sake of this video, I'll go in depth once more.
Hey, 1020. My freaking favorite one to do.
I've gone over the strategy a lot on this channel, but you know, for the sake of the FNAF vlog, I'm just gonna go through it once again. For 1020, I will be using Brayden's strategy, but I will briefly explain how this works. Now, what you wanna do is you wanna start the night out and you wanna open the cameras and whine for the first 20 seconds of the night. One thing you wanna take into account is that Golden Freddy will spawn on 5-second intervals. So say like you start the night out, you open the cameras, you're winding, you know, you're freaking winding and you close the cameras at 7 seconds, right? You have the chance of Golden Freddy being right there. So don't flash as soon as you come off cameras for the first 20 seconds if you plan on winding over 20 seconds, okay? Keep that Golden Freddy thing in mind. And then once you get to 20 seconds, you will begin the stalling portion of the night. This is where you stall Toy Bonnie from getting into your office and just ruining your whole entire day. After 20 seconds, you look at the right, hold the right vent light on, and then in between, you're gonna flash the hallway.
Yes, you can do those things at the same time. You don't need to let go of the vent light.
Flash the hallway in between that little 5-second segment. You're stalling Toy Bonnie for 5 seconds. Then you're gonna lift the cameras up, wind for 4.5 seconds. Remember, because that Golden Freddy interval. And then you're gonna hold flash, put the cameras down, and put your mask on for the blackout. As soon as your clock hits the 5-second or 0-second interval, instantly take off your mask and repeat the stalling process. But there's some things that could pop up, like Toy Bonnie actually appearing at your vent. Now, what you're gonna do for this is you're gonna,
Wow, holy crap, I just yo, what just happened there?
Yeah, if he's in your vent after you take off the mask, if you're going towards a O flip interval, you're gonna put the mask on at 8 seconds. If you're going towards a 5 interval flip, you're gonna put your mask on at 4. I hope I said all that right. What this will do is it'll pull Toy Bonnie out on his interval, and as soon as his blackout is done, you can lift your mask off and go straight into winding. What's cool about this is that you could do another wind after that blackout.
I really hope this is all making sense. I'm so blessed we have visual representations.
Now, another thing that can happen is that after you're done winding and you flip the monitor down for a blackout and there is no blackout, what you need to do is check both right and left vents and make sure that there's no vent animatronics. If there's no vent animatronics, you can go wind until the next blackout interval. But if there is animatronics, put your mask on and wait 5 seconds for the vents to clear. I play too much Five Nights at Freddy's. I'm just now realizing that. Yo, I play so much Five Nights at Freddy's. This is so sad. My life is actually so sad, bro. Okay, yeah, wait, hold on. That was like the entire strategy. I just knocked that out in like 5 minutes max. There is some times where Toy Bonnie won't come out on his supposed interval, which would be like O's and 5s. That's, you know, while you're masking before that. He'll come out at like 2 seconds and end his blackout at 7 seconds, you know? That is where you're low-key cooked and your music box might be fried.
That's where the RNG is of the night. Everything else is not RNG. I think it's very skill dependent. No! No!
Now that we're done explaining FNAF 2, let's get into my personal experiences and if I had any bullcrap.
To be honest, even with a strategy that makes 1020 seemingly impossible max mode easy, the nerves and overthinking of I don't know if I can do this for 7 more minutes kept crossing into my mind. That is one of the many mental blocks this challenge has produced. If you guys remember, FNAF 2 was second to last in my FNAF vlog, my OG FNAF vlog run. Now, the clip I'm about to show you guys is my genuine reaction to having the sensation of almost beating the FNAF vlog but falling short every time. And this is exactly what killed me. No! Oh, no! 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 I hate this FNAF vlog with a passion, bruh. I can't do it, bro. Oh my gosh, bro. Oh man.
gosh, man. But even through trials and tribulations, that was a bar, we have this run and we advance forward in the FNAF lock. With FNAF 2 out of the way, let's get into FNAF sister locations 1020.
It's time to take your final bow!
We need you so that we can leave.
The fourth game of the FNAF lock is FNAF sister locations 1020. Sister location, my beloved. To better prepare for FNAF lock, I actually went ahead and beat 1020 pre-patch. If you guys don't know what pre-patch is, it's basically a way harder version of sister locations 1020. You literally just like have less power and it's like really hard to win. I was warned by the Bones 5 that nerves will be a big thing for sister location, but honestly, I never really had any bad nerves. Okay, maybe I'm lying just a little bit.
Oh, no, bro. You gotta be kidding me, no.
Oh my gosh. Yo, okay. I kid you not. I don't ever have like a problem with like reading scripts and all that, but this is my sister location 1020 script.
This isn't a mic. This is actually for this moment right here. When I have to read words, I'm gonna bash this against my head.
So sister location 1020 is completely skill-based and absolutely no RNG included. We're gonna set it up like this before we get into the actual strategy. We're gonna explain all the characters, what they do, and how to deal with them. First, we have Funtime Freddy. Funtime Freddy will run across each side of the office. Now, it is important to track where he is going by looking in the direction that he last ran at. Over time, Freddy will send Bonbon to your door by saying,
"Get ready for a surprise! Bonbon, go get him!"
When he says Bonbon, go get him, whatever direction you're looking at that he was last in, he'll send in that direction at that door, so close it. If he says surprise, he'll send Bonbon to the opposite door. So once we have that out of the way, we are gonna go on to Ballora. Ballora is really easy. Ballora will come to either side of the door. Now, her music will start playing quietly, but then get gradually really loud to the point where it's just unbearable in your ear. That's when you're gonna close the door and wait for her to leave. We have a better effective strategy to fend off against her that makes everything easier to track with her, but we're gonna get into the strategy section. Then we have Biddy Bab. Biddy Bab will appear in the front vent and make a thud noise when she's about to attack. That's when you close the front vent and wait for that doing.
Doing. Doing. Anyways.
And then we have Lolbit. All you have to do with Lolbit, LOL. As soon as you see that animatronic on the screen, just LOL. Really hard. And then we have the two types of minarias.
Wow, holy freaking gosh, I can't speak.
Then we have to do. I said doo-doo. I said doo-doo. No way. I said doo-doo. On my soul, I said doo-doo. On my soul, I said doo-doo. There's the two different types of minarinas. The first one, every time you flip the monitor up and down, the minarinas will start to clog your headspace. Then you have the second type, the ones that suck up your oxygen. You know, you just gotta be fast with clicking that camera, pressing E. And then you have the Electrobabs. It's the same thing as the second type of minarinas, but they just take away your electricity. Just press E on the camera. Okay, and then you have Funtime Foxy. Funtime Foxy works the same way like FNAF 1 Foxy. You just watch his camera, and then you're not actually watching his camera, but you know, it's just open the camera and then it stalls him from progressing. So yeah. I believe he has 4 or 3 stages before he actually attacks you. Then we have Bonnet. People argue that this is the worst animatronic to deal with just because you can't really see anything on top of the first type of minarinas, but I would like to argue. Bonnet has a chance of appearing each time you put down the monitor. All you gotta do is click her nose to go away. Yeah, People think that's really hard, but I personally don't. Then you have Yendo, the final animatronic. All you gotta do is just, every time he pops up, just open and close the monitor really fast for him to go away. Let's get into the main strategy of the night. 1020 has 3 different types of phases that repeat. You have pre-cam phase, cam phase, and then you have post-cam phase.
Upon opening the night, you will want to open the cams and switch to Funtime Foxy. This stalls them while you're on the cameras. Every time you close the cams down, there is a chance that Yendo will appear. Just quickly open and close the cams to remove him. Bonnet can also appear if you close the cams. You're supposed to just click her nose. Everyone seems to have an issue with Bonnet, besides me. Or besides Jasiah, I don't know how he wants this.
Whoopsies, I forgot to edit the document when he was recording this. My apologies, Sir 50 Poop.
What we're gonna go into is the cam phase. The cam phase is where you start having the second type of min arenas and the electrobabs attack your tanks and everything.
During this phase, you will have to shock 2 cameras, the oxygen and power rooms. That is the purpose of the electrobabs and mini arenas. Not too hard to deal with. After doing the shocking, you will put the cams down and watch out for Yendo as normal.
Now, there's a lot of people say that they don't know where Yendo is when doing 1020. But when you're flipping the cameras, you can actually look on the right side or upper part of the camera, depending on where you're looking. So if you're looking left, look on the right side and you'll actually see Yendo's body, the little crack through the cameras. And if you're looking on the right side, he'll appear on the top of the cameras. Very useful. So, when you put the cameras down, you can instantly flip them up and get rid of him.
Post-cam phase is essentially the same as the pre-cam phase, but you have a chance of dealing with Ballora or Bidybab more often after cams phase or even during. Ballora will gradually play her music. The louder it gets, the closer she is getting ready to kill. When her music is extremely loud, close the door. The way to tell she has gone away is when her music depletes, but there is an easier way to track this. If you have a timer on, Ballora works on 5-second intervals, or rather, her normal movement intervals change throughout the night. 6 seconds at 12 to 3 a.m., 5 seconds at 4 a.m., and 4 seconds at 5 a.m. Say you close the door at 3:47, she will leave at 3:50, or if you close the door at 3:22, she will leave at 3:25. You see the pattern? Bidybab is much easier to take care of. If you hear a then close the front vent until you hear a bonk. There is a much easier way to deal with Bidybab, but we really don't have to use it for a current patch sister location.
To be honest with you all, the nerves I would get on this max mode was intense. Starting out the lock, I would absolutely shrivel in fear because of how much there was with this max mode. I would always mess up with Bonbon or stumble and not see Yendo, and that was because I was always overthinking it. But as time progressed, so did my nerves and my sharp playstyle. With sister location out of the way, let's get into FNAF 6.
The darkest pit of hell has opened to swallow you whole.
FNAF 6 is typically the second game in the FNAFLOCKE, but I decided to switch it all up because I was feeling silly, I guess. Some people say FNAF 6 is extremely hard in that I just don't really understand that.
Right now, I'm like way too focused to try to. Yeah, I'm ending stream. I don't care.
Now everyone welcome my very good friend 3FS to explain the strategy for FNAF 6.
Sup fellas, now it's time we commence the 3FS cameo. So let me explain how the sucker works. So starting there, you're gonna hit up motion tracking. See where everybody is, and then you're gonna turn on silent vent. Silent vent is the most clutch thing of all time on this night because you can stall out for longer without making as much noise. And another plus is that you can you make less noise, which means animatronics do not have the chance to gang up on you. Or they still have a chance to gang up on you, it's just a lot less of a chance. But you're gonna do the tasks in these orders: advertisements, supplies, then maintenance. Advertisements take by far the longest at a collective 50 seconds. And they're also the noisiest, so you better get those suckers knocked out first. Now if you're doing a task, any task, and you hear an animatronic, drop everything immediately. Turn both the fan and the terminal off, and face the direction of the animatronic. Wait there, Fess, how long should I do this for? 4 seconds. 4 seconds is the magical number, fellas. As soon as those animatronics count to 4, they frick off. They frick off immediately. It's the magic number. Now I'm gonna let you guys in on a little funny secret. SSJ Jasiah wasn't using any tools or any better equipment at the start of his run, so he was basically playing this night on borderline the hardest difficulty, which would be no equipment, no tools, and all ads. Now when you have this loadout, it's a lot easier to die to stupid things like heat.
Buddy, you might want to check that. No, I'm an idiot. Oh, why did I not commit to a bunch of tasks? Typical.
Now after you're done with the advertisements, you move over to doing the supplies, which takes a collective 41 second-roonies. Then after you finish with that bad boy, you move over to maintenance, which takes a collective 37 seconds, and is by far the easiest one to get done. Now there's one thing we're forgetting, a very, very important step to all this. After you finish one task, it is crucial that you turn off the terminal and the fan. And after you do those things, you wait for any potential animatronics. If you hear them, remember, 4-second rule. Stare at them suckers, 1, 2, 3, 4, bang.
Except count an actual 4 seconds.
Now the strategy I just described is legit the same all game around. It does not change at all. Now one last thing to list before the 3FS cameo ends. Let's say you're watching your right vent, right? Well, it's left for you guys. Let's say you're watching your right vent.
Let's say you're locked in. Maybe 1, 2, bang. I hear a guy behind me. Shoot, what do I do, 3FS? What do I do?
You immediately turn to this vent and focus on this guy. I mean...
SSJ doesn't have it listed on my little script on what happens to this guy, but I'm assuming he fricks off.
He does frick off.
But you immediately focus on this lad, and then bang, that's it. Alrighty, fellas, well, I hope you enjoyed, alrighty, fellas, that will conclude the 3FS cameo. I'm gonna let Jasiah take it from here. Au revoir, my friends. Peace.
Now, I don't think FNAF 6 is hard at all. I just really don't. I never really had much of a bad RNG experience with it either, and I think the only thing that really had me dripping sweat was hearing multiple animatronics all around me getting ready to surplus me. But I always knew what to do, so my nerves weren't really killing me. And with FNAF 6 out of the way, let us get into the final game of the FNAFLOCKE. Here we are. We finally made it to the end of the FNAFLOCKE. Now with FNAF 1 420, it's probably the easiest max mode anybody would ever touch on this earth. But since we are doing the FNAFLOCKE and have ripped through the other games, the nerves start to really kick in. Now everyone give a warm welcome to my boy Astrospiff, and he's gonna explain how 420 goes.
The strat for FNAF 1 420 is pretty simple. More akin to Rhythm Heaven than a horror game. When you start the night out, open cams on 4B and flippa until 97% power. This just stalls Foxy and we keep him that way the whole night. At 97% power, you gotta start thinking about door gang, so your flippa becomes flippa door. The only break in the rhythm is if someone pulls up to the door and it needs closing, but they leave after around 4 seconds when set to 20.
Silly fun fact, I actually almost nearly died at the end because I opened the camera after seeing Chica at my door. Oh, gulp. What was that? Now that all the games have been cracked down for optimization and the strats have been explained, we are now ready for the completed FNAFLOCKE runs. Now, even though we have made super optimized strats for these games to crack them down, trying to beat them in a row, I mean, that it wasn't really going as planned. Bro, you gotta be kidding me.
No, 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 no. We have to take a risk. No! I hate this FNAFLOCKE with a passion, bro.
By the way, this should just not have happened. Look at this, bro. The triangle thing was still up by the time I hit the box. How? I had 2 ticks. I had 2 ticks, and this thing just...
No, I'm gonna be honest, guys. Like, after that attempt that you guys just saw, that really just hurt me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna drop the whole scripting, you know, professionalism acting. I'm gonna get real with you guys. It's gonna get probably a little emotional. I've been doing FNAFLOCKE since January, and I was in California doing runs and practicing and doing everything I could to get ready for the challenge. I would always, you know, do runs and, you know, try to get far in the challenge, and I would just, it would be just FNAF 3 loop, and I'd get mad, like the RNG just, I couldn't bear the RNG, like I just couldn't, you know what I mean? Like the mental block, it was just bad, and like really bad. Like I was growing to be scared of this challenge, you know what I mean? Like it was like every time I loaded up the recording software, I would, you know, load up FNAF 3, I was scared. Like just like another thing is that like this challenge really just tore my mental health apart, you know what I mean? I don't mean to get all sad and loopy, you know what I mean? But this is just very important to talk about, because, you know, in the past when I would do the challenges, the 1 death 1 resets, I would always want to do the videos, but FNAFLOCKE, it was just, I just couldn't. And I just remember late nights I would run to my friends and I would be like, yo, I just can't do this. Like, I can't do it. I'm not worthy of it. Like, I suck. Like, I can't do it. It was just like a punch in the heart. You know what I mean? Like, I spent all this time, all these weeks, all these months, you know, preparing for the challenge, just to feel like I fell short every time, you know what I mean? I never let this stop me, you know? Even with all the crazy crash outs and like me getting mad, I never let this stop me, you know? And I just want to give like special shout outs to all my friends that helped me mentally with this during this challenge. These people, like, they really did, they saw a lot in me, you know, and like they knew I could do the challenge, and like no matter how I felt, they just wanted me pushed through, you know, the mental block, you know. And just want to give a big shout outs to my boy Vonnie, you know. He would always push me to be better, and I really couldn't have done it without him. You feel me? And then we have my boy Aiden, Snorts, another guy who just kept believing in me, very optimistic guy. He's amazing to be around. You know, these people are just amazing to be around. My boy Noah, my best friend, shout to him. He also believed in me as well, no matter what. Shout out my boy Kizzy World Amir, believed in me too. Every time I would start doing runs, he would always be like, it's showtime, you're about to get that win. These are just really good friends to me, and like I really, you know, couldn't have done it mentally without them, you know. It just means a lot, you know. Like support is really everything, and I want y'all to know, like, no matter what challenges you face in life, you'll always pull through, no matter what. It just matters about your mentality, it matters about the people around you. If you believe in yourself, it all comes down to that, and I truly believe that. I would also just like to give a massive shout out to the Bones 5, Ethan. To you personally, I really want to thank you for pushing me to be a better player overall, having a better mindset and everything, dude. Back when I first started this challenge back in January, I told him I wanted to beat it, and he told me everything that would come my way, preparing me, basically. He helped me become the player that I am now, helped me with 50-20, and I deeply am forever thankful to him. there's this conversation that me and him had where he said he was proud of me, and no glaze, this actually hits really hard. I feel like I have a lot to prove on this platform, but doing the FNAFLOCKE is such a big jump in the direction that I want to go to. So I thank you forever, Ethan. Thank you to the Bonus 5 YouTube channel on YouTube. Was that hard? No? Okay. Everything is out of the way. We got everything done in this video, and I appreciate you all for making it this far. So without being said, let's get into the final run of the FNAFLOCKE, the winning run.
know what that was. I don't wanna know. I don't wanna know. I don't wanna know. I don't wanna know. Jasiah, focus, focus, Jasiah. Don't mess this up. Jasiah, come on, don't mess this up, Jasiah. Come on! No way. 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 Yes! 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 It's done! Oh my gosh! Yes! 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 It's done! It's done! It's done! It's done! Oh my gosh! It's done! It's done! Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh!
Well, there we have it. I am now the second world victor of the FNAFLOCKE challenge. This honor is absolutely amazing, and I'll be bragging about it for like the next 10 years.
As the first victor of the FNAFLOCKE challenge, I would like to extend my congratulations to Jasiah. It's been a blast helping through the learning and grinding process for all of these max modes, and you have earned my respect.
Don't know what to say other than this was an amazing experience. I feel like I'm better at these games, and honestly, overall, it was a really cool challenge to do. One of the greatest videos I've ever made, and if anyone has made it this far in the video, I thank you so much, and I ask that you please subscribe to see future videos like this. If you also want to throw in a cool engagement comment, type "I am the FNAFLOCKE." That is the comment of the day, and I appreciate you all for watching this.
That was my entire FNAFLOCKE video. So much went into this video. You know, shout out to everybody I got on this project. Thank you everybody who sent me their parts and wanted to be on this project. I appreciate you all. To my supporters, to my Saiyan community, I really appreciate y'all for hyping this video up and believing in me. The hype behind this video is just insane. I really couldn't have done it without y'all. FNAFLOCKE, craziest time to be alive for my channel. That's it for me. I did everything I was supposed to. Been Super Saiyan Jasiah. Gracias por viendo, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Stay super.